Sweet.
All right. I guess welcome to our podcast.
Yes, it's exciting times.
Yeah. COVID-19, doing nothing but doing nothing but
Let's
playing
fucking
video
go
games
nuts.
and all that shit has. I guess I set up the account because I guess for the studio name that we're going to do for our project, it's going to be Tanooki Studios.
Okay, that's good.
So it's fine, but because when I googled a lot of the names, it's like they spelled it with U instead of the. So I was like, oh, I'll do like Tom Nook, where it's like two O, so it's like Tanooki.
Tanooki.
Yeah.
Give us your money.
Yeah, so basically we'll call this a Tanooki Studio podcast, where it's like we'll just update you on what we're doing,
That sounds
and
good.
yeah, do that. So I guess we should introduce ourselves. My name's Davis, and this is.
Charlie, how you doing?
Yeah. I guess we should start off like what our backgrounds are with animation.
All right. So starting off with, I didn't really have much background animation for a while, but meeting up with Davis, we met up during our high school sort of careers, and I met him during the animation department club, and he taught me a lot of stuff about it. But I got the bug, so I wanted to learn more, and I just got, I just wanted to see what else. So I enrolled in SVA, and this is finished my second year so far, going on to third year, still kicking. So
Still alive, still in debt.
Yep, exactly. Still have money to make up, but we're getting there.
Yeah. So I'll just bounce off that. Davis and I met up with Charlie. We basically had art class together in high school,
We did.
and I was the president of the animation club at that time for 2 years, and then I enrolled in UConn, so I got into the digital media and design program,
Mhm.
and they do like multiple media kind of things. It's not just like strictly arts, but it's like there, it's established, it's fun. Personally, I think I prefer the more hand-drawn 2D, so I kind of regret not applying to SVA, but it's fine. I met a lot of good friends at UConn. I do a lot of work in television and a lot of the reviews I have for like the UConn Gaming Club and stuff. And that's like a bunch of like the fun things, I guess. Like you would say the difference between like an art school and like a general, what social
Generally,
general education school.
yeah.
What's that called?
It's
Oh
not
my
in
god. Liberal arts degree. That's what it's called.
Noob school.
Liberal arts school. Yeah. Which is fine. Like I don't mind taking some of the classes, but like they just do drag on a bit because like I only had to take one math class, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned different things about like sound and stuff. So it's like it helps me learn more about like how things interact with like film and like real life and stuff.
Right.
So like I've done a little bit of ADR for like my own animation and like for that kind of stuff, but really it's like I think there's more club activities to like have fun with. How about what? Do you have any clubs at SVA?
We do. We have a few. We have a sports club. There no specific sports.
We do the sports ball.
There is no there. All sports are equal to their eyes. Yeah, we have a few ranging from like one called Cartoon Allies, which focuses on cartoons, animation itself. They usually talk about just the general like animation career and how they just talk about fun stuff like what's going on in the world at the moment when it comes to cartoons and animation, and they just kind of talk about their favorite stuff. There's also a couple of different like food clubs, and it's pretty wide ranging. So I haven't taken a look in a while, but they are definitely varied in whatever they want to do. I mean, I haven't joined one yet. It's too cool, but I'm just too lazy.
Too focused on work, workaholic over here.
Oh, fucking kill me! I know.
What kind of classes do you take, honestly, at like SVA?
Well, it's all for the first year. Everyone has the same sort of classes, focusing on the basics, like
So like core classes.
Mm-hmm. Core classes for the first year, like life drawing stuff, basic animation. So for me, who had like very little knowledge about what animation was, they would kind of go over the basics, like the 12 principles of animation, the bouncing ball, the
walk cycle,
pendulum, walk cycle, showing you how to smooth in, smooth out, timing, spacing, all that stuff. and they just go over it bit by bit. I was lucky; I had a really good teacher who really taught me the basics of it, and was super into getting it realistic, and was super strict but super nice at the same time. Figured. And so second year, you kind of like shift a bit. You start to go more focused, and you really start to see like if you want to start taking that kind of career. It's interesting because we did for our academic year. I don't know if everyone else did it, but we had to make a film, and we had to learn all the intricacies of having to do that on our own. And like for one, like building a script, building a character sheet, rotation sheet, rotation models, expression sheet, and you know we had to do all that on our own, and we had to do the storyboards, and oh god, it was fun. It was definitely like a crash course for me because I've heard about it and I've seen it like first year, but I had no experience in doing this kind of stuff. But it was definitely a learning experience, and I definitely treasure it.
Yeah.
And I learned how important it is to keep track of time and how not to fuck off, and I did that considerably that year.
I feel like if you don't know how to track your time well in college, then you're screwed. It's like God, that's dude. Like the main thing inside my classes. Like if you don't have a set schedule or like a thing where like you work on little pieces at every single time, then you don't get any work done overall.
Yeah.
Because like my schedule for like my summer course is just get it all done at once, just because like I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But like for other classes, like my DMD ones, like I'll set a set schedule. It's like, okay, this is due before this date, so I'll just do it between these 2 dates over here, and then work that way. So like say, okay, due date, I need to work on this like to be finished like by that date, to do a little bit here, here, and here every single day. But yeah, we had the same core classes of like we do design for like logos and stuff. We also do like animations, which is like more of the I guess motion graphics instead of like the traditional 2D, which is fine. And that's why like I really for my school at least should like differentiate between like what because it used to be called 2D and animation, but now it's called 2D motion something.
Feel the motion.
Yeah, which is like weird because like when I took the second class of like the elevated class level, it was just like, oh, you're working in Cinema 4D. It was like, oh, that's fine, but like, is this going to help me inside 2D animation, like drawing wise? And yeah, it'll help you with like building backgrounds and stuff. But like, I really think that Cinema 4D is good for like certain things that you just need to like simulate rather than draw. Because a lot of times, a lot of the shots inside animation and stuff like are just drawn. And then they're moving textures.
Yeah,
that's what I find a lot of inside animation. They'll do the thing where like they'll just mask it out and then they have like a texture moving back and forth, which is the proper way to do it. Which is like weird enough for me because like I really think of like, oh, it should just be hand drawn like little by little, like the old days like Disney and stuff.
In some ways, I think it works better because it's just it's just a texture. You could get more realistic feel to it if you do it right. I remember seeing like Courage the Cowardly Dog, for example. Like they had multiple shots where there would be textures on the road, or textures on the ground itself, and it would save a lot of time. Because reality, animation takes a fuck ton of time.
Honestly, when you compare animation to TV, it's like 10 times more painstakingly. Because if you do TV, you can just when you film and stuff, you can just reshoot a shot.
Yeah.
But if you do an animation, you have to do the sketch work, line work, and then coloring and shading, which is coloring and shading are the harder parts, just because that if it's not puppet animation, then like you have to consistently like move the line constantly every single bit, which is like I think in anime they do this a lot where it's like called sakuga, where it's like every image is drawn and they show highlights, they show depth, and they show shadow, which is the fact of like they're taking so much time to do this, and like it makes the work look more realistic with the terms. And I do think that in certain aspects, like sometimes animation just needs to be fluid and get the point across of the motion rather than like focusing on the tiny little details. And a lot of times, like what I thought of was like what makes a 2D movie better than a 3D movie is the amount of details. Because like in a 3D movie, you got these all the immaculate details over here and here, but in a 2D movie, like you need to choose which lines are here, which lines are here.
Right.
So it's like one of those things where it's like in 3D, you just leave it up to the modelers and like and like the modeling to like care of the lighting and like kind of stuff. But in 2D, you really need to think about how
How the
it
shot's
looks.
composed, how
Yeah,
characters will move, and sort of volume. I think that for a while, like in terms of like 2D animation, it's like I expected like I had to do everything at once, but in reality, it's like it was nice to find out that there are different departments for
yeah, you're
different.
part of a team.
Yeah, you're part of a whole team. Like it's like you have a little mini village when you work on like a film
Yeah,
or a show, that do different things. Like it's coloring as its own department, shading as its own department, which
yeah,
is nice. You don't have to worry about that too much, but
yeah,
it's definitely like you want to do your job right, so everyone else can benefit off of it, and you don't want to be that guy who just like fucks up or something like
yeah.
that.
Just usually screws up their job. There's like animation error right here, here,
Yeah,
here.
point it out.
Yeah, I'll say this though, like when watching other movies, like I always kind of point out all the little flaws and nicks because like especially in like live action films, because like inside animation you have the choice of controlling everything, but inside film and like movies, like for live action stuff, like you don't have that luxury.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of like end up with this like, okay, if it happens, it happens, but like you try to control that, you know?
Yeah, you want to just make sure that everything is just right. And like if you see something like a hand's too big or the volume's not right and it just doesn't look consistent, it really irks you as the artist who did it. But for people who don't, well, another thing is like I learned that people will kind of pick up on shit a little bit. Like it's less like the visual stuff, but more of like the sound.
Yeah.
People will pick up immediately like that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, because sound is like one of the things. Like visually, you could see things happen, but if you don't hear the sound, that's when people look at it and then they say that does not sound right.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think sound design is probably one of those. It's like probably the second main important aspect of film and animation because you don't have any sound. Your animation is practically dead.
It's a silent film.
Yeah, basically.
That was boring before.
It's boring. Like you could throw the most interesting plot point out there, but if you don't have sound, then it gets like you got to make it quick and fast.
Yeah.
Like you need to have like these sort of jump cut kind of thing where it's like here, here, and here, and like dialogue into like interjections. But like I really think for like it's like I remember watching Fate Apocrypha with my roommate, and we just because we were binging the Fate series, so I got him into Fate Zero first. Then we watched Fate Unlimited Blade Works. He liked both of them, but when we got to Apocrypha, though, the sound for the swords clashing just sounded really hollow.
Yeah.
It wasn't really much substance to the sound. It was just like ting, ting, like that kind of like
it sounds
hollow
like ringing
sound.
a bell.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like weight. It doesn't give it weight. Yeah.
It sounds really stock sound effects, and then those sound effects are like used widely inside of the anime industry. For like I think A1 Pictures did that one, and I think Cloverworks did the most recent one, which is Fate Grand Order Babylonia, which is really good. They do that little like hollow like sound, which I personally don't like, but for some weapons it sounds good.
Yeah,
like shields and stuff, but like because like it is sort of that kind of shape that would reverberate the air correctly.
It has, yeah. Oh man, like I never really like. I will say about the Fate series in terms of animation, just on its own, fantastic. Like it's really just.
Oh yeah,
incredible.
UFO Table and even the spin-off series, like the animation quality is like pretty up there.
Oh, yeah.
The one of my favorite spin-offs is like What's on the Menu for the Emiya household.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably one of my favorite spin-off series. Like it's just the Fate Stay Night crew just doing daily life shit, no matter if they're enemies or not. It's like the same thing. But besides that, like I think that was done by UFO Table too.
Oh yeah.
Because
yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
It was somebody at UFO Table, and like they had the most interesting like pastel kind of like art style, which was really nice. It was easy on the eyes, and like it wasn't like this harsh coloring at all. And like it basically is a cooking show, and it was just like, oh, this is a different kind of taste, and it's like I dig it. But yeah, I guess that's kind of like what we've been doing so far, but like and like our takes on like industry standards, I guess.
Right.
But like,
yeah.
Just like long-winded talks about just doing this stuff is just great for podcast material.
Just remembering all the old times. I remember like I would stay up till like 3:00, 2:00 every night, just pounding out work for animation, and it's that's not a great habit, but you gotta do it sometimes.
Crunch time. I'll say this: crunch time is like you have a certain amount of time that we get for a deadline. It just you need to budget it really well.
Yeah.
And what I think schools don't do properly is they don't form teams of like, okay, you're part of a team. You need to get this project done within this by the end end of the month or semester or whatever.
Yeah.
And when you do all this stuff, like you're left to your own devices.
I agree. And when I wish they kind of like did that second year and sort of had like a focus on that instead of like because all of us had to do just a whole film on our own, and it would have been a lot more interesting to have like to work with other people and like socialize, because a big part of animation is you're going to be working with
You're
people.
going to be networking too.
Yeah, you gotta converse with people. You have to know how to talk to people. You have to know how to like formulate a plan with them and agree, disagree, and it's all about coming together and making this thing. But I mean, there are people who can make something on their own with their own specific vision, but it will take a hell of a lot longer.
Yeah, I really think that when you should core classes should help you figure out what kind of aspect you want to do in animation.
Mm-hmm.
Then you should form the teams based on what you do well.
Yeah.
And we have for UConn at least, we have a class called Agency X, I think, where we work for companies in Connecticut and they do work for them. But the thing is that everyone works to their strength, and that's the part that they should emphasize earlier on inside your career to say hey, you're not alone. Because when I took my film classes, my physical film class, not a film watching class.
Right.
So when I took my physical cinematography class, right, my teacher said you cannot do any of this alone. You need to have a team, and you need to communicate well. Which I think would be the perfect class to get you into teamwork building and making sure you're able to do these things. Because if you can't do these things, then you screw overall as a worker inside the industry. So you don't get this opportunity to normally do these kind of things, but you get this ability to learn how this actually operates.
Yeah, I know, and it's you need that sort of experience when talking to people, and it's you get that sort of responsibility. It's it's not just about you anymore. It's about the team. Yeah. It's important, and I wish that we'd have the first semester be your own personal stuff, your own personal work that you have to do and improve on, but then second semester to teamwork, that you do a team project after that and show them what you've learned, and that would be a much more interesting sort of full year rather than just be do one full project over the full year, and it's ugh.
Yeah, I understand. It's nice to do one big project over the course, so you build up the skills, and then you do it to make sure and you produce something, because it works portfolio work. But you're doing these small little things here and there, then you don't really have time to develop this portfolio.
Yeah, I get that, and it's just yeah. I mean, you could also do that over the summer too. I mean.
But then, you have to resource on your own to saying, hey, you can talk to your classmates and stuff. Hey, do you want to work on this, this, and this? I need people to help out with backgrounds, which we all suck at.
Oh.
Dude, okay. So if you don't do backgrounds, if you're a keyframe person like me, you don't do backgrounds at all. You'll scratch basic floors and basic buildings of where you want it to be, and then you have someone else do the work. Because you don't have the luxury of that time to go back and draw every interesting detail. Because I would for me when I do certain animations, if it's needed, I'll just color in the flooring and the walls to make sure they know where it's supposed to be shading wise.
Right.
But after that, it's all them. I do not need to they should figure it out, because that's their job inside the team that we're working with.
Yeah, exactly.
To do things.
I always I actually been reading a couple of manga recently. Shout out, I read manga, just to let you know.
Ooh, manga. If you look at my shelf over here, we have Boku no Hero, Assassination Classrooms, Yu-Gi-Oh, Fire Force.
I see One Piece too. I see you out there, and I would say that
I'm pretty sure this is one of the first ones that were printed, because this is in 2010 when they picked up the rights. Yeah.
But going back to
it's a really old copy.
Going back to background, I've been reading a couple of more recent manga recently, and they kind of just skip the backgrounds and stuff and focus on character interaction and only kind of just show a tree or something, and it's just I get it, you want to show the conversation and the interaction with the characters, but backgrounds are in a lot of cases extremely important, because it sets up where you are, it sets up the setting and how it needs to kind of integrate into, well, it tells you where you are first off.
Yeah.
It sets the stage. And series like One Piece do an amazing job of integrating the setting, into the story.
Yeah, because you usually do like what they do in film, which is like a establishing shot. Because like inside the Wano arc right now, they'll have like, oh, new location, establishing shot.
Yes.
Like they're at like Kaido's Demon Island or whatever, Onigashima,
yeah.
and it's just like establishing shot. This large, like really cool
cherry
blossoms, like really, really, really cool, like.
It's
overall.
Like a harbor with a fucking skull, and it's like, that shit's awesome. And it's going to be integrated into the fights and shit, and it's like, But, I get it. If you just want to show characters talking with each other and focus only on that, I mean, it's fine. But if you really want to bring it up to the next stage, setting is incredibly important.
Yeah, backgrounds are always needed. If you're a background artist, we salute you.
Yes.
You do the heavy work inside the majority of the stuff. Because like if the backgrounds don't look nice, then you're kind of like, okay, then like you're not going to be focusing much on the series. And that's what I think a lot of people will try to do is like, okay, the backgrounds don't look interesting, then it kind of like feels like it's kind of hollow.
Yeah.
There's not much substance of the world. And like a lot of things with like writing and stuff, you're trying to craft a world around the thing with set rules and establishments.
Yeah. I give Naruto a lot of shit, specifically the ending, because what the fuck. But I do think that...
I mean, we can spoil this. Dude, that thing ended like, what, 2016? It's been 4 years.
Ugh, fuck. But I do give the author a lot of credit for the backgrounds, and certain panels will have... Like the thing with Pain, where he's...
Oh yeah, that large scene where he just demolishes the fucking...
Yeah, you see the entire bit of Leaf Village. Like, that's fucking nuts. And he just drew that. It's like, that's brilliant. And stuff like that. I love that. And, I just like to look at all the little details.
Yeah.
But, like, another plus to reading manga rather than watching anime. But, whatever.
Yeah, I really think that when it comes to, like, things, like, resources and stuff to look at is, like, manga, anime, and like actual film is to like look at what you want to do because like 2D animation for like Americans and stuff, it's really cartoony, and then like a lot of the backgrounds like though are still really nice. It just doesn't like it seems like kind of like far fetched, and like very simplistic kind of
style
areas of like if they're in the Midwest, it's always a cowboy town,
Yeehaw,
it's like this like very like tropey kind of things, but like. I really think you should really go out and like do photography is one of my things. Like if I need something in the background, like I'll just go out shoot some stuff and like do that.
I'll say this Western style animation. In terms of backgrounds, they'll have simplistic backgrounds, but the colors they use are really good. Like Steven Universe.
I was about to say Steven Universe.
Yeah,
the buildings of the towns are really nice. Like this very nice teal, like kind of slightly pink, like roofing.
Yeah.
Which is really
and
like,
the sea
good.
and the setting of the sun is like I see those shots. I'm like, that's fucking brilliant. But
it's like when you like in the older cartoons like Scooby Doo. It's like okay, you can tell what's gonna move because it's
you can
it's
see
done,
the outline.
It's done differently.
It's like gee, what's that curtain gonna do?
It's clearly outlined in a thicker paint. So.
Boy. I'm just like, oh no, Daphne, don't go over there.
There's obviously the hidden murderer.
Oh, God. I will say the best Scooby-Doo show, and it had the best style, was Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated.
Oh, no, that was a really good show, because it went for the whole dark aesthetic, which is really nice. And, like, the style and the simplistic lines overall, I think it barely had any lines.
Yeah.
Because, like, the lines they had, like, just mixed in with the, within the outlines of the characters. So it was just, like, going for the nice, like, clean, like, non-cartoony art style, which is nice.
Yes, and the monsters actually looked like
they
super
looked like
cool,
monsters.
And
I still remember, like, the one with the kids who got paid candy.
Yeah!
I was just like,
that's
dude,
my favorite.
I was like, dude, this is an extremely convoluted plot, but, like, overall, those kids look fucking scary.
Yeah, dude, the pan flute chick. Oh my god, that was so fucked. I loved it, though. Oh, do you remember the one where it was the prom night and, like, the limousine...
The limousine driver?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the girl, and she was like, rah, I was like, damn,
Daniel.
That's we're gonna bring up the old shit. But
we're dating ourselves here. We're old men.
Yeah. Another thing.
At the ripe old age of 20.
At the ripe old age of 20.
When do you turn 21?
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh my
Surprise.
god. Oh my god.
Hello. It's so funny you brought that up. I was like, huh, that's right. I literally woke up this morning. I'm like,
My
oh,
birthday's tomorrow.
I'm like, oh shit, my birthday's tomorrow. I'm turning 21. Whoops.
Yeah. I mean, when you get to like the age, like though, like you don't really care about your birthday anymore. You just want to
Yeah.
hang out with your friends.
It's another day. Yeah.
It's like who really cares? Like anything like this. Like especially we're in quarantine now. It's like you can't really do that
Yeah.
unless you're protesting and then you have a 100-person party in your
Yeah,
backyard.
coronavirus party. Woo!
Yeah, COVID-19 party. Woo!
Let's go. We're all gonna die. But on that fun note, another thing I was gonna say was in terms of storytelling. So I'm a big One Piece fan. I'm sure everyone.
You and I both know that
Yes,
you're a big One Piece fan.
I will always treat Ichiro Oda as my number one god. But one of the things I love most are hierarchies. And I was just thinking that
The neck hierarchy?
yes. Yes, the neck hierarchy. I was just thinking like another thing like series do a lot of times nowadays is like they'll just introduce a new villain out of nowhere with no forethought or whatever, and then just like, oh, there's a new big baddie. All right.
Yeah.
But like I was thinking back on it, and I always thought like when it comes to series like Avatar, One Piece, they both have a simple setup, but also a set hierarchy that they laid out at the beginning of the series.
Yeah, because the main point of Avatar is like, okay, the Avatar is supposed to save the world, and the main
Yes.
problem in the world is the Fire Nation attacking everybody.
And who's the big boss at the top? The Fire Lord.
The Fire Lord.
That's
exactly.
who we're going to take down. We're going to get there. We're going to go.
Yeah.
One Piece. What do we know? There's a guy named Gold Roger who's the king of the pirates.
He died. He left his treasure somewhere inside the new world.
We need to go there. Okay, who are we facing? The Navy. Who's in charge of the Navy? The admirals, captains, lieutenants,
blah, blah, blah.
whatever, rookies. And, it's like, it's stuff like that you see it and you can, like, gauge what kind of threats you face in the series as you go on. Like, when the fucking first admiral showed up that we see, I forgot his name. Akiji? No, not Akiji.
Akuiji, yeah, the ice guy.
Oh, Akiji. Okay,
Iceberg.
cool. Yeah,
no, not Iceberg. Because Iceberg's a real character. I should not say Iceberg because there's like Iceberg and then Akaiji is the ice fruit guy who rides his bike on the ocean, which is really cool.
That was really cool.
That's a
really cool thing. Also OP. But yeah, when we see him for the first time, it's like a holy what the fuck moment because we never met one, and he kicks their ass.
Yeah. And
it's like from then on, anytime an admiral shows up, it's like it sets the tone.
Because like what we didn't see Akainu until Summit War.
Yes.
But we got the light guy who
showed up during the archipelago.
Archipelago, yeah. So like there are like I feel like inside One Piece there's definitely a power scale.
Yeah.
You know. There's certain things that like do certain have a big amount of strength behind them. Like if you're a giant, for example, then you're immediately outclassed like pretty much 50% of like the
size
entire
matters.
cast.
And size matters a lot in One Piece. Like big dudes will kick the shit out of little dudes, unless you have hockey.
Yeah,
it's a different story.
And that's the thing. I really feel like hockey's kind of a cop out just because Zoro and Sanji like just needed this simple power boost, you know? Because like a lot of the crew is just kind of support. Frankie has his like robots and stuff, but like Nambi, Robin, and Usopp and Chopper, they rely on themselves to like take down large groups of enemies at a single time, and like that could get exhausting. But like when it comes to like a big bad, like Luffy versus Doflamingo, that's one of the things where like you need to have the strength and like pretty much conquers hockey to like face against these certain people. Which is like okay, like you need to like Luffy's the hero of the story, and then we need to have Luffy to be overpowered as hell, just because it's going to get to that point where it's like he needs to step up to the plate.
There needs to be more, right? And I agree to you in some aspect that like Oda needed something, but I do think he kind of hinted at it for a while ago, starting with in Alabasta, I think when Zoro was able to cut Mr. I think it was Mr. One, I think it was.
No,
because remember when he like hit the leaves and he kind of heard a voice in his head and then he was able to cut Mr. One. I think that's when it started. They kind of hinted at it. I know for a fact they hinted at it.
They hinted at Water 7
in Skypiea. That's when.
In Skypiea.
Because that's when Eneru blocked. Like,
because they would explain it inside of One Piece later on with Rayleigh. It's like, oh, Skypiea it just calls it a different name. So hockey's been existing for like years.
Yeah.
And like the problem I think about that is like they kind of just brought it up. Like it wasn't really formally like realized until like post time skip, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas like the black arm and stuff, like the arm and hockey, that kind of stuff, it wasn't really fully realized until that point because you've seen people use it before. Because Garp uses to hit Luffy and like Luffy feels it because Luffy's made out. He pretty much can't feel like a lot of the hits because like it's rubber, it just bounces back. But like if you use hockey, you pretty much got him.
Bang.
Or Sea Prism Stone.
That's why it's like, you know, if you're a regular dude, that's why the other reason why I like One Piece, because like even regular people who don't even need the fucking fruit can just be badass if they just train hard enough. And I like that.
Yeah, because like you have people like Mihawk, where it's like they don't need like
Mihawkers are.
They just need a little toothpick sword and they just like slash. That's it.
And Pokey with my sword.
Yeah.
I mean, so you know, if you're looking to make a grand epic like One Piece or Avatar, first off, plan it out.
Have a plan. Yeah, this is the thing about story wise is that a lot of TV shows don't have a plan. They just like do the slice of life thing.
Star Wars. Excuse me.
Which one though?
Sequel trilogy.
Okay, that's fine. I thought you were talking about Clone Wars. I'm like, no. Clone Wars is an anthology series. Just, each episode's supposed to like fill in the gaps.
George had a plan for the prequels. It didn't turn out great in the movies, but it's whatever.
Yeah, I understand the point of like the prequels and all, but like it's so bad in their own right. But I think just overall, it's worse inside the sequels.
I think in terms of production value and like overall like movie stuff, the sequels are better to a degree because like the acting's the acting is better,
significantly better, but like the plot points are kind of like bad.
The writing is bad.
Yeah, because like when Leia got fucking what's that term? It's kind of like shoot it out to space, like airlock.
She pretty
much got airlocked out to space, and then does the force powers and like to bring herself back. And it was like the force doesn't do that. I think
that's not how the force works.
Because like a lot of times they don't explain any after pretty much after all the Jedi died out, they don't explain how the force works.
No,
it's just like this mystical force like you could use to like I actually try to explain it inside of like the prequels, like midichlorians. Like the way the force works is that the Jedi have high midichlorian counts, which enables them to control other midichlorians inside the Force, which is like, okay, that makes more sense. You're not really physically lifting the object, you're physically lifting the midichlorians inside that object.
Right. Who's the guy who made Clone Wars again? The show?
Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni is going to have to fucking carry his new series. Like, they're going to have to explain a lot of shit if they're going to make another series during the time of the sequel trilogy. Like, if they're going to have to do another thing.
I really think they should just fill in the gap of right after the Empire falls.
Yeah.
Because that's probably the best time to do it, because like there's not that much information out there of what happens.
Right.
But like, because like all we know is that after that, Luke tries to regain like the Jedi stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a point about that, saying like, even I would prefer them to go the Legends route, where it's like Luke actually succeeds in like doing the whole Jedi temple thing, but then like he's getting backstabbed because like inside Legends he falls in love with a girl, but the girl's apparently a Sith spy. So it's like it's interesting. Right. But like, it makes more sense that happen, like, because like one of the rules like Jedi can't have a wife or kids.
Yeah.
So like, if you abolish that rule that kind of set this whole spiral out in the first place, then like theoretically it wouldn't happen again.
Yeah.
But Luke gets stabbed in the back, and then that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, there is the Mandalorian at the moment, so that's kind of covering it, but it's not going to be able to like tell like the whole, span from the original trilogy to the sequel trilogy. I don't think.
No.
Because
that's like immediately right after
the
Empire falls, and like there's not that much time to like explain fully like what's going on.
Yeah.
Like if they make reference of like, oh, there's rumors of the Jedi restarting, that kind of stuff, it makes more sense. I don't know how they're going to bring Ahsoka and like Rex into the whole mix, because like those are animated characters, and even though the prosthetics and stuff look fantastic, I really don't think you're going to find the right actors for like these people.
If it's not like the original voice actors for Ahsoka, I'm just going to be like,
it's gonna be like the bad adaptation of it, where it's like they really shouldn't be. They said they were going to bring her in and Rex, but it doesn't make sense though, because that's like after the Empire fell. Wouldn't you want us to make it set before? Or like a standalone series before, but like they already had like Rebels and stuff, where it's like already like before.
It was during the.
It was during the rebellion.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because like, a lot of the rebellions and stuff like are fairly poorly organized.
Yeah.
Because like you have people going over here, and here, and like you have the one main rebellion that we see in the main timeline of like the movies.
There's too much.
There's just too much going on.
There's stuff in that whole trilogy. They really wanted to milk it.
They really milked it. I do agree.
And I think that a part of the reason why now everyone just like is so tired of it because they just did it over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, can we not have an underdog story?
Can you not reference Luke Skywalker for a minute?
Hey, Luke, I'm your father. Just want to let you know.
Yeah.
Goodbye. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm excited for the new area they're going. I know they're going to the what was it called again?
The Mandalore.
No, not that one. They're new. I know that Lucasfilms is going towards this. They're going back in time now. They're going to the High Era.
Oh yeah, the Old Republic, I think.
High Republic.
High Republic,
yeah. And that'll be cool seeing Yoda in his prime and some shit. Like that'll be interesting. But,
Yoda as a youngling.
Yeah, Yoda as a
or a Padawan for that matter.
I think he'd be a Jedi, wouldn't he? Or just a regular Jedi.
He'd be about like roughly like 200 years younger, so he'd be about 100 years old, I think.
Yeah.
So that would be in like his prime.
Yeah.
But it still would look pretty cool. I probably if it's that's a book series though. It's not like a TV show. If they make a TV show, they're gonna have to do a puppet or a CG, which might look off.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the puppet inside the Phantom Menace because that was a puppet before they switched over to CG because it just didn't look right in the lighting. Mm-hmm. So I think they did a good job with the CG of Yoda. Yeah. Inside the second and third.
And they fucking killed it with Baby Yoda. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, dude, that thing was like a mixture between puppet and CG, which is really nice.
Yeah. It's a masterpiece when it comes to that. Of course everyone hates it because
it's a fucking meme. I hate it.
Everyone's just like a fucking had it with this. But of course, like when they release the next season, everyone's gonna be once again like, oh, I love it, yay. Yeah. Everyone's gonna forget about it, and then it'll become a meme again, and then everyone's gonna be like, fuck.
I want the Obi-Wan series to come out sooner. So I'm kind of like in that point where it's like, okay, bring back Ewan McGregor because they already are.
He said he was coming back. Yeah.
Just bring him back to just do this and like you're finished with like the whole like prequel stuff because like a lot of this stuff is like the only reason why people are eating it up is because they're prequel fans. I guarantee it. No, none of them are sequel fans. They're all prequel fans. They like the old stuff because it's cheesy and corny.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Back from the dead I am.
Get over.
I will always say this, but the best Star Wars stuff I've ever watched was the Clone Wars. It always was to me.
I feel like that's because we grew up with it, though. Yeah. Because like I do agree, like in certain aspects, like it was really good, but in other aspects, like some of it were just like kind of lackluster. Of like, I guess plot points where it's like, okay, you're like I understand like you're trying to humanize the clones, but then like some of the episodes are just too focused on them. It's kind of like.
I would argue. Now, you may disagree, but I would argue that in a nutshell, that's kind of is what Star Wars is, because Star Wars is not fucking perfect. I mean, the first movie, Episode 4, is perfect. And Episode 5.
Episode 4 is a cheesy space adventure. Are you kidding me?
It's like, it's what it is. But, like, yeah, overall, Star Wars is a mixed bag, and I think a great representation of that, if you ever want to get into the series, is the Clone Wars. And I think that if you want to get a feel for what the series is kind of about, I would say maybe even start there, or at least like maybe watch 4 through 6. I don't know if you want to watch the prequels, but I would say instead of watching the prequels, just watch the show, and then you get a really better understanding of how the universe kind of feels, and you get introduced to so many fan favorite characters, and it's just like you get to see them in a new light, and it's so great. And the fights are so cool.
I think the main thing about that though is like. In the first episode of like Star Wars, right, where it's like Obi-Wan mentions this stuff, where it's like, oh, I fought with your father in the Clone Wars. I think it was like that kind of point where it's like a one-off thing, where it's like, oh, here's like some backstory that sounds interesting, but we're not going to touch it until like Star Wars began this multi-million-dollar franchise.
Yeah. Gotta milk it, man.
Gotta milk it, yeah. Disney's gotta shape up if they want to milk it harder. Yeah. Because not looking so far, movies is not the way.
Mickey's gotta get them gloves lubed up nice.
Oh boy, it's time to milk the Star Wars cow. Copyright strike. Copyright strike.
Just wait till we get Dragon Ball Z. Ho ho.
That's another thing. Flash, like for animation on YouTube though, like it's kind of dead, but like for the people who are still on there, like Flash Kids
Oh
and
my
like
God.
even the Newgrounds people, like they still do some stuff.
So
Like
good.
their work is like fairly impressive for
The puppet
for
work they
for
do.
like I would say it's not really indie animation, but like for small animations, like quick animations, like they're really nice.
Yeah.
And like they have a certain style to it, and like they do extremely well. I think like kind of just one-offs, kind of like fun kind of stuff.
Their puppets are like super well detailed. And,
Yeah, because it's all Flash. Because like it's like you make the body parts and then you just switch between symbols and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is like interesting, like because like it's already pre-made. You just okay at frame 25, the hand goes from a down position to like a quarter turned up.
We actually did learn that, or I did learn that in my second year, and how to use it in Toon Boom and stuff.
Oh, the sort of like that kind of stuff. Like Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty does the same thing too.
Yeah, exactly. That's another reason why I kind of want to learn it, because it's definitely used a lot in current
Western animation.
Animation.
Archer,
Rick and Morty,
Bob's Burgers,
Bob's Burgers,
and like Simpsons. Anything that's not intricate, they'll use the puppet animation.
Yeah.
If things are like intricate, like punches, like if you look at the chicken fights from Family Guy and stuff, like they're like a slog. But like the one I personally enjoyed was a Family Guy versus like Simpsons one, where they actually use smear frames. And, like they do really well with the fighting, and that's what I think. That's probably their main thing was like they spent a little more of the budget on that rather than like other things.
On jokes, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh, did you hear that inside Arizona there was a replica of the Simpson house built, but they had to repaint because it didn't fit with housing codes? Yeah, it was just like bright, ugly pink, and like inside Arizona or something like that. I think it was in Phoenix, Arizona. Because you can't have a certain color of a house, and it can't be pink.
That's weird, huh?
Yeah. Because it's like the beauty of desert, so like it's like either a gray or like a beige color, so it's kind of gross. But like it's Arizona.
I remember hearing that back in the old days, I guess, in the army. This is a weird like side fact I heard a while back, but there was like a platoon that would paint their Jeep or car pink, and when they were in the desert, when it would get to a certain like sunrise or sunset, it would be pink. It would be like super like a sunset thing, so it would blend in with the sand, and you couldn't see it. And I was like, that's really weird.
It's a weird type of camouflage, but if it works, it works.
Yeah, I mean, it stops you from getting shot. That's fair. Yeah, but like going back to story themes, and animation in general, depending on what you want to do for animation, plan it out.
At least have like loose plot points for like certain things. It's like when starting off like with characters and stuff, like you want to make sure every character has a goal, because like in One Piece it's like, oh, Sanji wants to find the All Blue, Zoro wants to become a stronger swordsman, blah blah blah, the greatest of whatever. But like as a story, like you need to like make sure they kind of sort of character arc in a certain place where it's like you could do it inside an episode, that kind of stuff, or you just do it over the course of the series. But like you just want to have general plot points of like saying, oh, this character's main goal is like to find her missing grandfather or something like that, which is like one of the plot points I use a lot, where it's like missing parental figure, but they find it inside someone else, and then once they find the like other figure, it's like the other figure is like, okay, you gotta choose between me or him. Who are you going to join? That kind of stuff, which is really interesting. It's a neat plot twist that you don't really see a lot. But like, I really like enjoy like these kind of like niche kind of ideas, though.
Yeah, like something that just shakes up the formula. Like, I remember telling you this before, but a series that I've been loving recently is called Blue Lock. I remember.
Yeah, you told me about this.
Yeah. And so I'm not going to spoil too much away, but the premise is it's a sports series based on soccer, and basically Japan kind of just sucks overall worldwide based on recent events, I guess. At least recently in their standard, and they just kind of want to win a World Cup, but they've been having the hardest time. So they come up with this idea that in order to find someone who's like the best of the best in their country and that can lead them to the World Cup, they have to sacrifice like 200. They have to make 300 youths prodigies or upcoming
soccer battle royale.
It's essentially it's basically soccer battle royale. They're put into this weird like program that essentially like eliminates them one by one and like shortens it down and like sharpens their minds and stuff, and it's really neat because it gives this sort of like interesting dynamic where one round you'll have these set characters working with each other and the main character will have these like friends, and then like everything will flip on its head though the next round because the rules will change and the people who were working with him before will be gone, and then the people who we fought against last time will be on his team. So it'll just be like
leave your friends.
exactly.
Join the dark side.
It's like, and there's no one like sincerely like bad. It's just like everyone wants to win because everyone's a huge egotist and everyone thinks that they're the best. And so it's just like this, like, I want to fucking win. I don't care about this teamwork shit. You follow me, I'll lead you to victory. And it's like this sort of weird, like, yeah, this is pretty neat. I like this.
I kind of enjoy this kind of stories where like the main character is like kind of the secondary backup character though, because like you see in JoJo where it's like Koichi, where it's like he's kind of this like he's kind of the person telling the story when you're first introduced to like the whole like part 4.
Yeah.
But then you see his character arc, but like he's kind of sort of narrating this entire like sort of story of like overall, you know. It's interesting to see, like, oh, this is not from the like main character's perspective. It's just from an outside perspective that has no idea what's going on. He's just dragged into it.
Giorno, for like the majority of the story in Part 5, is just like a background character.
Yeah. Okay. So inside the manga, he's not the greatest character overall. He's very bland. He's very like tough, broody, angsty kind of kid. But he's like 15 though, so it's like okay, he has problems, his daddy issues, mommy issues, whatever. But like you really, I think what you try to focus on is like you try to make the supporting characters like better in a certain like because Bucciarati and like Mista are like probably the two bigger ones overall. Like people like Narancia and like people like Fugo and like Abakio, but like I really think that the people who really carry like the entire I guess anime series after that is like Mista and Bucciarati, which is just like probably one of the better two characters to focus on because like they have like interesting powers.
Yeah.
And like they have like and because like their powers basically kind of rely on them like kind of thinking more about it because like Abakio, if you use his stand's got to be input for like stay in place for like the entire time while he's using his power. But like when you get to Narancia, it's like it's just airplane that detects like carbon people who life sources by carbon, the carbon they breathe out. So it's like that's kind of a cool concept.
Yeah. I mean, like Mister's thing is like he needs a gun. That's like he needs this added thing to this whole thing, his whole like power and stuff, and so it adds this sort of like underdog feel to it when he goes up against stand users that can literally change the elements like that, and it's definitely gives it added tension and a relief when Giorno eventually shows up to occasionally save the day, but it's nice when Mister wins on his own.
You know, like his ability's not that powerful, and he relies on something that he has really no control over besides like his own capability. Yeah, it's not like we're powered like Star Platinum, where it's like he could do anything he wants basically because it's so super duper strong. It's like one of those things. There's a limit to like powers, and like you really see that limit when it comes to Mista and like other stand users.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as bad as, say, getting stuck inside a pylon or having it cling to your back and kill you if you look behind you. It's like, it's not as bad as those stands, but it's definitely a stand that requires an extra... It
takes an extra mental skill to like realize, okay, I have a revolver with six bullets.
I need to feed them.
I need to feed them every meal. Make sure they're not cranky. They're not fighting with each other.
Yeah, and it's like if this was a fighting game, Mista's would be a more technical character instead of being a standard.
I mean, there is the JoJo Battle Royale game inside Japan, the arcade game, but that just is like, okay, it's a gun, you can just shoot, and like, those bullets will track, Also, when I went to Japan, though, like, arcade games are, like, okay, but, like, the claw machines are a complete fucking ripoff.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
I'll say this, like, if you go to, like, the main ones, like, the Sega arcade, like, on the main street of Akiba, then you're gonna lose money almost immediately. There's like 2 times. It's like 500 yen per play, and like if you do that, it's like 1,000 yen, which is like $10. Yeah, $10. Already, so it's like you might as well just go and buy the figure, which you probably could do. It's a popular figure inside the crane machine. You'll probably find it on the streets. Yeah. Inside shops, because like a lot of the secondhand shops too, like do a really nice job, like just labeling prices at a decent price. And that's where I bought like the Dragon Ball figurines and then the Love Live stuff. I actually won the pudding one, which is really fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that one I won.
Even though she's like, well, she's not great at this, but whatever.
I'll say this.
She redeemed herself.
She redeemed herself at the end, but
she did redeem herself at the end. It made me cry so hard when Sanji heard about it. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was just like, you don't want to feel bad for her, but then again, like,
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, at least he has somebody who cared, like a girl that actually fell for him.
Who fell for him and was completely bipolar about him. He's like, I want to kill him, but no, I love him.
Yeah, it's like, ooh.
Crazy yandere.
I know. God, fucking Big Mom.
Dude, okay.
She's still around.
She's still around. I really kind of hope that she gets put out of her misery inside this arc.
I hope Luffy just, like, get the fuck out of the way! Bam! Just
Yeah.
punches her in the face. That's not gonna happen, but I feel like it's gonna be... I honestly think, at this point in the story, I believe that CP0 is going to make a move. I think if once the fight with Luffy and Kaido's done, CP0 is going to
make a move because like they have Drake already inside Wano, and like we all know he's like the secret swords, whatever. Or maybe just the Navy overall might make a move.
Yeah.
Because Cody's not inside CP9 or CP0 yet, I think. So he's just like a normal like captain.
Yeah, he's like a vice. I don't know if he's a vice admiral.
Probably vice admiral. I would say captain at least.
Yeah, I think I know.
Because he has a coat. He has a coat.
Yes, he has a coat. Once you get a coat, you're
a captain basically.
Once you get a coat and the fucking
tassels,
the larger your tassels are in One Piece, the stronger you are.
Yeah.
Luffy started out with no tassels, has medium-sized tassels. He will end up with tassels that will go to the sky. That is how it will go. He will also. If anyone tries to give Luffy, like, a shortcut, he'll fucking destroy it.
Oh. Yeah, we like, honestly, he pretty much sets it out in the beginning of the story. Like, there's no shortcuts to becoming king of the pirates.
Luffy, we could literally just go right there. The island's right there. No, we go around the other way. We go through every fucking villain. We will do this.
Yeah.
We will do it right. I am the DM. We will do it my way.
It's kind of okay. One Piece is one of those things where it's like it's kind of long, but like it's very rewarding in the end if you read the manga.
Yeah.
Because if you watch the anime, you're fucked overall with about nearly 1,000 episodes so far. Because it's like 9:30 came out today, I guess. And they introduced Queen because they didn't Wano, but they had a lot of catching up to do. Because like I would say by the end of this year, Wano should be finished.
Yeah, I hope so. Because, we're almost at 1,000 chapters, right? Fuck.
Yeah, we're almost at 1,000 chapters.
That's so nuts. I love that. Yeah, I mean, like, for people, I always, like, the biggest thing when people say, like, oh, it's too long, I can't read it. I'm like, Naruto, 600 chapters.
Hunter Hunter.
600 chapters. Hunter Hunter, like...
Still going.
Still going. Somehow. I will never... Like, God, I haven't read in a while. But it hasn't really gone anywhere, so I haven't really lost anything. Yeah. So I don't really care. There is a series I do want to go back up and read back up on. That was Fire Brigade, Flames, I think, or Fire Force.
Fire Force?
Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah.
Dude, this is really interesting right now. Inside, like, overall, it's like current chapters is like really interesting because like they bring this whole entire fact, like the natural flame that they use for like power and stuff is like a sort of like there's a flip side to everything, so there's another dimension, basically.
Yeah.
And they sort of use that factor of, like, okay, it's kind of a cheap cop-out, in my opinion, to, like, say, oh, it was all entire parallel world since the beginning. It was like, not really when you first enable it. It seems more of, like, a dream world and, like, a place where...
Right, it's like a Bleach
situation. Where souls kind of, like, exist.
God is a lie. We must kill him, as always. Thus
any anime character ever... God is a lie.
God is a lie. Why did he send me to this world as a black-haired anime boy?
Yeah.
Why? Truck-chan, no.
No, Truck-kun.
Truck-kun betrayed me.
That was I remember reading a small short story. That was a concept. It was like, oh, this guy has a contract with God, and it's like, okay, I'll if you send me the photos and like IDs of these people, I will run them over and send them to you so you send them to the world. Which is a really funny concept, but just like, come on, like
that's pretty brilliant. I love. I wish they had a second season. I don't know if it does. Zombie Pop Girl series.
Forgot what. Not Zombie Wonderland, was it?
No. Yeah, you don't.
Zombie Saga.
Zombie Saga. Yeah.
The first thing she maybe gets run over.
Yeah. That was a cool concept for a show. I like that.
For an idol show, a really interesting character development.
Yeah. CGI wasn't that great. But...
No, because CGI is always CGI. But like, I really think when it comes to CGI, like nothing's gonna top like the Love Live stuff because like they had the time to like nail their sort of technology of like how they got up to like Aqua Wars and like Sunshine and stuff.
Right.
So the Sunshine stuff is all consistent and like really nice, but everything before that, like you'll have different character looks, so like certain things just don't look right in certain aspects of like character design and like consistency over the course of like the first generation of their idols. Mm-hmm. So like, but like that's kind of the charm to it. It's like you kind of grow with it, you know. It's like, oh, we're growing with it, and like this may change, but there's still these same characters.
I want so bad for the style of Dragon Ball Fighters to be implemented into a show of some kind, because the cell shading and the fucking animation prowess that is on display in that game makes me so fucking jealous, and I just want like
you know what they do? I'm pretty sure they just have a from what the camera looks like, it's just like
they enlarge.
They enlarge shit, but like, so like for the shading and stuff, that's pretty much just like the shader doing its work. It's more missing the program. I'm pretty sure for the harsh outlines and stuff, it is literally like have an outline of like the model. It's like there's a thick outline of black around it, and like when the camera looks at it in a certain way, then it will like see through, and then you only see the edges being dark.
Right.
So that's how like a lot of stuff works. Like inside lighting for 3D and stuff, like the edges are the things you want to highlight.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Have you seen Guilty Gear Strive gameplay for that?
Yeah, I saw like Guilty Gear stuff. Like it was at the Indie Game Showcase. Cool. That was right after they announced Persona 4 Golden for the PC. I was like,
not gonna try that. I'm good.
I'm like, dude, that's like an old game with no updates like whatsoever. It's just like. The soundtracks have been out. If you really honestly want to play that game, it was just like you had your chance to.
Yeah, it's like you're adding an update for a game that no one's played for like years. So
yeah, but it set the record on Steam for like the most played JRPG consistently, which is like fine and all. But like I would say this, Persona 5 would be second considering Persona 4's story, because like Persona 4 had like this whole like Scooby-Doo shenanigans going on. It wasn't like as edgy. It was like more comedic, and that's more my taste. I would place 3 over 5 too. So like I would place 4, 3, then 5 inside rankings for like the main like for what people remember.
Got it.
There's not a lot of people who remember playing the original because the first Persona games are considered Shin Megami Tensei games anyways.
Yeah.
There's Shin Megami Tensei Persona and Shin Megami Tensei Persona 2. So it's like one of those things where it's like this is considered this other game, and like these 3 are just straight like Persona, like just the one word.
Speaking of comedy, I just finished Gravity Boys, or just caught up.
You caught up? Fantastic!
So good.
My favorite series.
It's so good. Chris, you gotta just take it.
Just take the L.
Just take the L. Just take the L.
Chris, get in the dress and take the L.
Chris, listen. We gotta restore humanity. There's no other way. Unless fucking what's his fit? God damn it, I can't ever remember characters' names.
Which one? Garibaldi?
Unless Geralt fucking owns up to his space waifu, I don't think it's gonna end well.
No.
I mean,
honestly, it's really interesting though, because like realistically, kind of speaking, it's a cool plot. Like, humanity destroys each other. Like, that's a pretty like 101 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Inside storytelling is like, okay, end of the world situation, final hope. Or these kids you send out to space by their own. They crash down on a planet and try to survive. I personally think this is one of my favorite series. It's a slice of life comedy.
Yeah, I love it. I love the inclusion of the space market world. Like once that started, once that was introduced,
once they expanded out,
they really got going.
Went well.
And I was like, great, okay, cool. We're gonna really explore the space aspect more. When they got sent to prison, I laughed so hard. It was so fucking funny.
Don't drop the space so
Don't drop the space. And the fucking Wonder posters. They're just like, they really changed, huh?
They really changed, yeah. It was like, they throw the devil sign, like, they're just completely, like, one's got, like, a metal neck brace or whatever.
Oh,
and these are completely different, like, renegades, which is really funny.
Oh, so fucking funny.
I really don't think that I would have learned about the series if I did not read on the Manga Plus app, which is, like, one of the best apps out there if you want to read new things.
Good. Yeah.
I really recommend it for people who are listening to the podcast. Like, if you want to read manga that's new from Shonen Jump, read from the Manga Plus, because the Shonen Jump app that Viz has is not the same. That's for the currently established series that are being currently printed.
Yeah.
And once that is done, they'll just move on to the next one, which one they'll print, because like they really have a limited selection of like My Hero,
One
Piece,
Jujutsu Kaisen, which
the
is
new
another
Dragon Ball
one.
and that kind of stuff. But like, you can get all that stuff for free on this app that we have, which is the Manga Plus, which is also run by Shueisha, which is the company owns Shonen Jump.
Yeah, if you want to learn like just the basic shonen stuff, perfect. It's perfect. And there's like, and if you ever want to like expand out more once you get past the app, like I'm just saying, the app is perfect plug. But like there's also like besides shonen, like just for anyone who ever wants to get into manga, there's like so much other stuff besides shonen too. Like there's horror, thriller, comedy,
slice of life, that kind of stuff.
Slice of life, isekai if you wanted, whatever.
Yeah.
But like there's, and like what's great is that there's sites too that you can look up, and like there's manhwa, which is Korean manga.
It's Korean comics.
Korean
I'll
comics.
say this: I don't like Korean manhwa because of the layout format.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me as
They
as
do
like
it for your phone. That's
as
why.
a physical book reader, because I like my stuff physically. As a
Yeah.
physical book reader, it doesn't make sense.
They switched to more electronic, like
Electronic friendly,
Yeah.
which is like I don't like that because like I don't really read that kind of stuff like on there. Because like even online manga has a problem with like, okay, if it's like it's supposed to be a wide panel shot, then you have to turn your phone sideways.
Yeah,
and, that's
and
the
your
thing
phone
where it's
auto
like,
adjusts.
it's like if you read the book, then like buy it on the physical print, then it's all there in the first place. I really no. The one book I actually do recommend people read is not Dragon Ball, which is in front of it. Is this one?
One Piece.
No, it's called Senpai ga Uza Kohai no Hanashi, which is my senpai is really annoying, roughly translated.
Oh.
It's by Shiro Manta, and like he's really good. So like if you pick up the first volume, you can really see the development of art style.
Yeah.
Of like simple like black and white.
Right.
But then once you get further in, it's almost full color.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And like I'll say this, I prefer Japanese prints over American prints because like there's such a nicer quality of paper.
Yeah.
And like it's not the shitty like consistent brown paper that that like all the Americans use for some reason.
America.
Yeah. Because I understand the shitty quality inside Shonen Jump paper. Because like if you look at the Shonen Jump shit, right? It's made out of this like cheap paper that's oddly colored.
Yeah.
You know?
It's got that weird yellow tint.
It's got the yellow tinge, and sometimes you have these like little small, like clear, normal print, like magazine paper ones with like, full color pages, little inserted. But otherwise, it's kind of like very poorly, kind of flimsy paper.
Right.
It kind of like breaks easily.
Haven't read that
This
one.
was actually the holiday edition that I got.
Yeah, I got that one too.
I bought two of these since I went out to Japan, and then
That's another.
Yeah,
I haven't read in
I will say
forever.
this though: the way they set this up though is that it's a very clever scheme where they print out on like decent legible paper, but when you get to like physical prints of like the actual printing of like other manga, like you can see the 10 times the quality.
Wow. Yeah. No. Like I could definitely see the difference. For people who are not seeing this right now,
It's audio
comparisons. But I mean, it's definitely like an amazing. This is overall like I love reading manga so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's just for me. It's like people are like, oh, why don't you read a book? I'm like, bitch,
I am reading a book.
I am reading a book. Are you reading a 900 chapter series? No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I'll say this: writing a book is way different from being a manga.
Yeah.
Because you could be like a story writer, like Dr. Stone is, because Dr. Stone is written by the guy who wrote 21 Eye Shield, I think.
Yeah.
And then the illustrator is Bochi, who also does a lot of other.
I've seen
other
some
stuff.
of the other work. Yeah, he looks really good.
And funny enough, like Bochi actually has a drawing channel on YouTube, which is really fun.
Oh, it's so good.
It's really good because he'll answer questions about industry stuff. He'll answer and like he'll just do live drawings of like, oh, here's chapter 159 or whatever, and then here's like this character. Here's the front illustration, like me drawing this. And I really enjoy like when creators do that when they have the time to like sit down and say, like, hey, if you want to get into this kind of stuff, this is what I recommend, and like helping out the community grow.
That helps. Yeah.
Because like, a lot of times you're like, if you have everyone who's a star, right, and you don't have enough support, they're gonna fail.
Yeah.
Because like no matter how many times, like it's a teamwork exercise where it's like you need to have a team to help you out. You may do all the line work, blah blah blah, story writing, that's fine. But like, if you don't have a proper team to back you up, then you're not going to go anywhere. Because then you're going to get swarmed with deadlines.
It's all about cooperation.
Exactly.
You need people to help you out. You can't do it all on your own. Much like animation, when you're in the art industry, when you're doing commercial art, you need that cooperation with other people.
Even with
to keep it
design,
going.
in design too, it's like you need to have cooperation between one, the company, and two, your team that you're
Yeah.
working with. So it's
Yeah.
very like people who think that like art is like, oh, I'll be like this Vincent Van Gogh kind of like I'll be like this lonely person. It's like no, the reason why Vincent Van Gogh was like this kind of like person is because he went through a couple depressions and like being lonely kind of put him forward. But if you're trying to do something with art, you got to work in a team no matter what you're doing. As a freelance, even like you're going to get hired, you're going to be forced to put in a team. That's the one thing I would say is like you're going to be doing because like a lot of times when you do freelance, it's just logo work. But if it's like a full like freelance, like oh we're hiring you as a 2D background artist, you'd be working most likely with a team.
Yeah, and also another thing is like you got to pick and choose what you want to do. For instance, when it comes to animation, you really want to pick and choose like in terms of time wise. Like oh I could, focus on this one shot and really dedicate like an hour to it, or I could move on with the rest of the animation. And you have to pick and choose your battles. Like also, it's like when the studio
needs something to be done by a certain date, that means it needs to be done by a certain
date. Yes, exactly. And if for your editor for your manga, it's just like well, this doesn't look great. Because
the point of an editor is still to just say, okay, you might want to change up this here and here. This like something like certain things aren't clear over here. You might want to fix that up.
Yeah, and the big thing is like don't say just fuck you. I'm going to do what I want because you're not going to go anywhere.
No, you're not going to go anywhere. People just want to drop you because like editors have the choice of being with a person. And one of my favorite anime of the current season or the last season was Kakuhishi Goto, which is like which is basically a father trying to hide from the daughter that he draws manga for a living because his manga is like full of dirty jokes.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful series. I'm going to pick up the physical when like more of it comes out and it's finished.
Mm-hmm.
But the editors have a choice of like from what it's portrayed, like they have a choice of like who they get to be with, right?
Right.
And same way goes for the manga. Because like they have the choice of being with certain editors who work well together, but like they could then a manga could say like, hey, can you send a different editor over because I don't feel like this person's doing a great job at their job,
right?
And they need to switch over because like it's art basically, and some people will just not have
subjective.
It's subjective, and like our teacher said inside high school, it's not gonna be everyone's not gonna like it. Everyone's gonna be a critic, everyone's gonna be a reviewer, blah blah blah. But like when you get to a certain point, it's like you need to make sure like you can work together properly without hindering your like potential to work properly.
Exactly. You have to know your audience. You have to know what you want to do, and like it's fine to change it up once in a while, and do what you want. I mean, as long as everyone's supporting you on that, like do what you want. It's your baby. It's what you create.
It's your project.
Yeah. So it's up to you, but. Try to incorporate what other people are trying to say. Don't be closed-minded.
Yeah.
And when you're able to like get the best bits of what everyone's trying to tell you and combine it together, you make some really cool shit.
Yeah. I feel like we've been going for a while though. I think this is a great first episode.
We're really bringing it out.
Yeah.
We're trying to connect here with the audience.
Connect with the audience about anime and animation.
Yes.
So I guess we'll just sign off here and then we'll continue this probably next.
Yeah.
We're going to have projects down the line. So I guess next podcast we'll do more about like what we're going to be working on in the summer because we only got like 2 months left, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, it is a scary thought.
Yeah. Because I'm not sure if I'm going to go back to like on-campus housing in college, and you're definitely going.
I'm probably going back.
Yeah. Because you don't want to be commuting back and forth from New York.
No, that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
All right. I guess we'll be signing off then. I'm Davis, and
I'm Charlie. Have a good one.
Yeah. See you later.
Later.